I've been meaning to talk back to my hometown for some time now, and I'm pleased to be able to do so because I don't believe. Look, everyone needs to get the attention that they need, and these affected areas are so great. From Valdosta and Statesboro up through Augusta and my hometown of Thompson, Georgia, THOMSOM, no P in Thompson, to, the affected areas in North Carolina and East Tennessee. And we've been remiss not talking about Georgia. Wanted to get an update on Georgia, and I thought what better person than my old schoolmate. Jason Smith is Community Development Director for Thompson McDuffy County, and he joins us in the Matt Murphy Show this afternoon to give us an update on what's going on over there. Jason, I hate that we are saying hello after so many years like this, but it's good to talk to you, brother. How are you?
Yeah, man, it's great to hear from you, Matt, and I appreciate you leaving the P out of Thompson.
Yeah, that's that's people. My regular listeners know. Anytime I talk about my hometown, it's THOMSOM, no P in Thompson.
That's one of those things we have to tell people again and again and again. Even as I deal with state contracts and stuff, I always tell people no P in Thompson, and most of the time they still leave the P in Thompson.
Well, the most important thing is that Jason is a fellow proud graduate of the class of '91 of Thompson High School, and that's the most important thing y'all need to know is that. Jason advanced in his career clearly in a better fashion than I ever did, and he graduated much, much higher on the scale than I did, although both of us were way behind Andy and Kelly.
Well, there's that, but I also say I wouldn't go that far from you because you went into broadcast media, I went into print media, which we all know how great print media is doing. And so let's not talk about career decisions. I was fortunate enough to get out to go into healthcare marketing for a little while before I came back to government. So I wouldn't say I went that far.
Well, you shut it down. We can talk about that one of these days. Smith was there to close the lights down.
That's exactly right.
All right. So tell me, give us just a kind of a 50,000 foot view of the central Savannah River area, Augusta, Thompson, and the surrounding areas. What's life like that right now?
We're finally getting back to, I will not say anything near normalcy, but we're getting back to life, I guess. We're still having shortages of gas in some areas. My wife, who says hello, by the way, my wife called me just a few minutes ago. She's taking our daughter to Atlanta for some softball stuff. And, she said she tried to stop to get gas leaving town and the gas stations were at one of the gas stations that was out here. So, we're still facing some of that. The biggest thing we're facing right now is some power issues. We have two companies that serve us, Georgia Power being the larger one, and then the smaller regional cooperatives of Jefferson Energy. Georgia Power has got most of their customers back on Jefferson Energy because most of their customers are in the more rural areas, is having some issues getting them connected. We're hearing that some of those people may not be back for 3 to 4 weeks. Matt, you and I have known this community for 50 years, and we have never seen anything like this. I cannot understate the damage done here. We were talking, Governor Kemp came through last week and had a conversation with him about the issue we have here is we've seen storms here before. We've seen severe storm damage here before. But it's always been exceptionally localized. It's been a square mile here, a square mile there. Matt, this runs from county line to county line for both McDuffy County, which Thompson is in, our neighboring counties in both Warren and Columbia and Richmond County. It runs county line to county line, and it is massively destroyed. Georgia Power estimates that they have 8,000 power poles down in the state. They've never seen anything like this before. We've never seen anything like this before. And in growing up, I remember when we were growing up, the fear was a hurricane out of the Atlantic. That's the fascinating thing is that, this came from the Gulf of Mexico and was so fast moving that it just barreled right up the state of Georgia and just dumped onto Augusta and the surrounding communities. It still was between a Category 1 and a Category 2 hurricane when it came over, and it came over in the middle of the night. We had crews out responding to it, and some of our crews, especially our fire and EMS crews and police, had to shelter. We had a fire crew that literally had to go into the hospital to shelter because they were out on a call when the worst hit.
Wow.
This is one of those things that you can't prepare for. You can expect, but I don't think any of us could ever imagine the breadth of what happened here. We were without cell phone service for A full 2 or 3 days. And when it did come back, it was up for an hour and down for 5. We're finally back with cell service being mostly with us now. Our internet, most of us have Comcast here. We have no idea when it's going to come back. They've told us the 19th, but, who knows? There's that level of destruction here. And we have been very fortunate in McDuffy County and Thompson that Georgia Power responded with nearly 500 crews just to our community to start repairing.
Mm-hmm.
GEMA has had boots on the Georgia Emergency Management Agency has had boots on the ground here with their people, and they have been so responsive. They set up a clearinghouse for shipping out water, tarps, meals ready to eat, MREs, and ice, and just fulfilled every request we've sent to them. We have seen representatives from FEMA here. We've seen representatives from the Red Cross here every day. We had one of the days last week we served about 1,400 meals here. So our community's getting back to it. This is going to be one of those things that you get back to a certain level of normalcy, but it's going to be months and months before we get back to what our community
no doubt
is normalcy.
No doubt. So where would you estimate from the power / water? And I know you kind of mentioned that embedded in the answer, but where are you? I mean, how many people are currently, are there still people without power? I would expect. And how many of those folks are there, would you guess? So
right now I'm looking at data as we speak that's current as of 6 minutes ago. We're at 18.5% of our community is out right now. At the peak of this storm, we were between 85 and 90% out when it hit. Georgia Power is down to just 17 customers out in the community. Jefferson Energy still has 2,100 out. And there's about 11,000 power customers in total here. So we're getting back to it. And like I said, those 2,100 customers for Jefferson Energy are largely rural. They're in areas where you've had, massive swaths of trees taken down that have also taken out the infrastructure they're in. To give you a little insight on this, Jefferson Energy has their system based out of substations, which then powers to homes. Jefferson Energy has 4 substations in McDuffy County. As of when the storm ended, all 4 of their substations had sustained catastrophic damage and needed to be partially rebuilt. So there was not only could they not connect to homes because power poles and lines were broken, they couldn't even get to the front end of their system to get power to the substation to get to those lines.
Wow.
So they had to get those substations back up. It has been a long, arduous task for them, and it's still ongoing.
So how can we help from way over here in Nashville, Tennessee, but we want to help our neighbors in East Tennessee, we want to help our neighbors in North Carolina, and we want to help our neighbors in Georgia. How can we help, Jason?
Sure. So the biggest thing to do, and I hate to plug social media, but please go to our social media page.
No, go for it. Do it.
It's McDuffy County, Georgia. Make sure I'm giving you the actual right name here. It's McDuffy County, Georgia. We're posting as much as we can there. And that's where a lot of the information is going to be. We're trying to use that as our clearinghouse for information. It's McDuffy County. The logo we have on there is 2 hands with the heart and the Thompson McDuffy logo on it. So if you see that there, that's the one to get to. That's the best place to go to get information right now because that's what we're using as our clearinghouse. And you asked about water. I'll tell you one thing that I'm most proud of in this community. Beyond the overall response of our officials and the EMS, fire, our day-to-day workers, who a lot of these guys have been out since the storm hit and are finally kind of taking a breath. We say we're moving from the response to the recovery aspect of this now. One of the things that has been most beneficial to us is there was some forethought put into the water system here. We ran our water system for 4 or 5 days off of nothing but generator power.
Wow.
We finally were able to prioritize power back to our production stations, and we never lost our water system throughout this entire storm. One of our neighboring counties that is much, much, much larger than us had to shut down their system for a couple of days. So our residents who have water have been very fortunate, and that's one of the things about getting back to the power thing too. These Jefferson Energy customers who are rural, a lot of them have wells. So if they don't have power, they can't get water out of the well. So it's a double whammy for them.
Well, to finish up here, Jason, obviously I'm biased, but I tell my listeners that please, I understand that we live in a digital world where our cell phones are always available. We've got internet streaming. We've got downloads. We've got all of those things available at our fingertips until the power goes out. When that happens, please have a transistor radio. It's my understanding that my old boss, Mike Wall, and WTHO, WTWA over there has done a great job.
They have.
In the absence of electricity, there's always those battery-powered radios to get you information, right?
Absolutely. And Mike has done a tremendous job. We did, so the way we were set up was every day we had meetings at 9 and 6. We had a morning meeting here's what's going to happen during our day, and a 6 o'clock recap. And because we didn't have communications a lot of days, we had meetings during the day just to make sure people were still where they needed to be and new things hadn't popped up. But we made recordings for Mike after every 9 o'clock meeting, and then throughout the day, other recordings. And he has just been amazing working with us and being patient with us as we had to update information on the fly in some cases. It's really been great to be, I'm thrilled to be working in my hometown.
Yeah.
And it's been great to watch the response of our hometown.
Jason, thank you so much for the update. I mean, my heart goes, that's the old stomping ground, right? That's, your heart's always there, and just send my best to everybody in the community. I love you all, and I'll get over there to see you all very soon.
Well, we're going to come up and see you at some point. My daughter wants the VIP tour.
Let's go. I'm ready to take you around. Thank you, Jason. There's Jason Smith, who is the Community Development Director of McDuffy County. That's my hometown, and they got popped, around the same severity as what we saw in East Tennessee. Probably not as much as North Carolina, but it's pretty severe over there. So give as you can and just surround them with some love. It's 22 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.